What's happening, everybody? Jay Washington here again for Cinelinks.com, and I'm doing still more coverage of the ABFF, the American Black Film Festival, that normally goes down in Miami live, but due to everything in the world being what it is, and Florida being all over the world, it's virtual. So this time I have the pleasure of talking to another amazing sister who put out a great film. She is not only the writer and director, but producer and star of the movie ASUNDER One Flesh Divided. Miss Alana Barrett-Adkins, how are you today?
I'm well, and it's Alana. I'm Alana.
It's Alana. I meant to ask you, was it Elena or Alana? Because I wasn't 100% sure. I wasn't 100% sure, so I meant to ask you.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
So I got it. Cool. First and foremost, before we go any further, I have to ask, how are you doing throughout all of this madness that is the world currently?
Yeah, well, thank God, I've been okay. I do know a few people who have either succumbed to COVID or had COVID, so I'm grateful that I'm okay and everything is well. And I have family in Florida. I'm from Florida, so I have family in Florida, and I'm just keeping them in my prayers and in my thoughts as they process now. Because I'm in New York, so they are what we were a few months ago, which is
I feel like we're close to being that here in California. I feel like we're almost, because it's it's not LA proper. You have certain parts that mess it up for the whole, and so because of that, you're like, you know what, I'm going home. Like, I'm from Chicago, so like I'm going. My birthday is Tuesday, so I'm going home for my birthday, so I don't have to sit here and do nothing.
Exactly.
I was looking over your resume, and just some of the things you've accomplished thus far is phenomenal. Like, it's surreal to see, but it's amazing because I love it when I see us doing these dope things. Like, you're an alum of the NYU Tisch School of the Arts, the Atlantic Theater Acting School, the Stone Street Studios. You've had a film already at Sundance.
No, I was in a film. I was in a film at Sundance.
You were in a film, okay. Because it was like, yo, this was you. And I was like, what? But nonetheless, you've made a mark on Sundance, one of the prominent film festivals in the world. And you had Tribeca as well. But I have to talk about ASUNDER. And before we started recording, I asked you about this. Well, I started to ask you about this. You are the writer, director, producer, and star. How? I'm just an actor in films. I've been on movie sets and TV sets, and I see the headaches that directors go through. How did you manage all of that while still managing to maintain your composure as an actor?
Right. And I have to say, just in general, this film was a miracle. The fact that we were able to do all of these things on we had no budget, no anything. And we crowd fundraised. I had like two friends who gave a little extra, and then I gave from my savings. So this was a miracle. And as far as wearing all these hats, like, trust me, y'all, please don't get it twisted. I'm not that person that's like, I need to do everything and I need to be on everything. But at the same time, I didn't want to direct it. I wanted somebody else to direct it. I wanted somebody else to play Ruth and different things like that. I just wanted to be more of the screenwriter and maybe, the producer and see. But then my creative team was like, that makes no sense. Why don't you just direct it? Why don't you just play this role? Like, instead of, we don't have the budget for another actor. You already know the story and you can act. So just do it. So it seemed like the more I was like, no, I don't want to do it, the more the road kept leading back to me to do it. And so I was almost like pushed to do this. And thank God I did, because I have such a love now for directing and such a love for producing and such a love for this. And I can't see myself not doing that. And so now I'm in the process of working on another project, actually a few other projects, but it's like I can't see myself not doing this anymore. I love directing. I love bringing that vision, that world into life, and being able to capture that into a frame is nothing like it. There's truly nothing like it.
It's weird hearing that, because you hear some people who are like, yeah, I wanted to direct it. Yeah, I wanted to do that. And they hear that you were trying to stay in the background at first, and it was like pushed into it. And now you found a passion for it. Did you find it that directing was something unique to have to do, especially like you said, no budget? You got to make sure you got the shots you need in the time frame that you have.
Yeah.
Was that level, was the stress levels through the roof?
Oh my God. When I tell you it's rewarding now, but doing this film, creating this film, and the director is involved in all 3 stages of production. So pre-production, production, and post. It was one of the hardest things I ever had to do was make this film. But I guess that was like labor pains,
Right.
It was really difficult. I'm not going to front like, oh, it was great. But one of the things that I always did, and I told my crew, like, look, I'm new to this. Please, like, if I'm doing something wrong, don't go and talk about me just tell me. I want to make sure that we create an atmosphere and a space where everybody's comfortable, where, problems are solved. If I can solve it, I want to solve it. And so I tried to keep that atmosphere and that environment as calm and as safe and as transparent as possible. And I think we had a really, really great working relationship, not just the crew, but the cast as well. So just being open in that way, I think, made everybody very comfortable. Not to mention that my mom did craft services. So
so that, you're already like, look, I already know when we getting in this craft service. I got money. She was already probably like, baby, don't worry about it. I got you.
Yes,
don't worry about it.
And this is my adopted mom. She's West Indian, so she was making some ackee and saltfish and all kind of dumplings and stuff. We were good.
That people probably worked on other sets like, we don't eat like this. Like,
we eat sandwiches.
Right. So let's talk about the film in itself. Where did the concept come from? Is it from personal experiences, hearing stories, or how did you come about it?
Well, actually, the idea for the film actually came from a prayer. I was actually praying to God. I consider myself a person of faith and a follower of Christ. And I was praying one day. I woke up early in the morning and I just looked to the left and like there was just a pillow there and there was nobody there. And I was like, you know what, God, I'm single. I'm single. And, I'm kind of tired of this. I want to wake up next to somebody. So how about this? Like, I got a plan. I had a plan. So I was like, how about you give me like a 90-day free trial on a husband or something? And then after 90 days, if it don't work out, I got the box. I'll send them back. Mint condition. Everything will be great. And even though that was a joke, God started to literally show me things that married couples go through, from infidelity. First and foremost, being able to share a space with somebody you haven't shared space with before, merging your families together, not just merging your families together, families now in your business too, overlaid with that, sickness, disease, addictions, as you'll see in the film, infertility, all of those things are part of a marriage. And I also had the opportunity to speak to a lot of married people and a lot of divorced people about things that they went through in their relationships. And Asunder was born from that.
And I was noticing that the different things, the infertility and all the different levels of, spacing, and one part of the marriage doesn't want to be there for another with Ruth and Brandon. And that had to come from, like you said, now hearing it from the discussions you've had of people who've had, like, I get tired of him leaving his socks. Because when I saw that, I was like, that's somebody that said that he left his socks out the door, things like that. Or the dishes had been sitting in the sink for 3 days. It's funny because I was talking to my my daughter's mother about this. And I was telling her, I was like, well, one of the things that started this off is some dishes in the sink. And she was like, yeah, I know about that. When I was like, well, let me let you go. We don't need to have this conversation anymore, because this is going to get too personal too fast. I don't need to deal with this. But the way it has some of the things where you've seen in movies before, but it shows it in a different light. It shows it from the Christian light, the gospel light, because again, it doesn't go hard like some movies like this would go into PG and R, where it would just show you sex and all the violence and the name calling and the swearing. And that was something I was also reading, how your mission and your passion is to create, provoke, inspire, and empower through the arts, specifically women in the African diaspora, and as well as use things through faith and through God. So I can see how that translated. How did you feel when you first wrote the draft of it? Did you feel that had the message you wanted to convey?
When I first had the draft, see, one of the things that I want to make sure, as you could see, I don't want to go to the gutter either, but I don't really like Christian films because I feel like they are for a Christian audience. As you see in the film, you don't even know that they go to church or anything until like an hour into the film.
An hour to the movie, yeah.
And that's because I want to show them as people first. I want to show the complexities of humanity first, and then layer on. But at the root of it, of course, is the gospel and the message. And in all of my work, you'll always see some elements of faith in it, which I think is so important. Absolutely. And it's helped me, and I just feel strongly that's just my truth. And that's the truth that I choose to share. But when I did the first draft, one of the things that I always wanted to just make sure is just that balance is there. Like, I don't want to be so overly, I don't want to slap you in the head with the Bible, but at the same time, I don't want to be so, I don't want it to be Hallie. Oh God, I don't want to say names. I don't want it to be the Monsters Ball scene either.
Oh, I know exactly what you're saying. Yeah, I know.
Hallie, hey, Hallie, hit me up. But you know what I mean. I just want to make sure we have that delicate balance between speaking the language that everybody can understand, but still having that root of faith in there too, and that message in there too.
And it definitely shows, again, because you just said that great thing. You see a lot of films nowadays where the director tries to convey a certain message, but the problem is they're beating you over the head with it. And it's like, we got it. We're with you. You don't have to continually try to drill this. But if you keep it where it's not so much an undertone, it's there, but it's there. And when we have the other story around it, it works like you did with the film. I want to ask you a question, and this might be a unique one. It may not. Are there any directors right now who's like, okay, I can do this if they can do it, and I can enhance on certain things? Because we all see our peers do things, and we're like, yeah, this is where I want to be. So have you seen anyone like that?
Yeah, there are a lot of directors I admire. Obviously, the big hitters, the heavy hitters, Ava DuVernay, Spike Lee, and who's actually, I think, supposed to be at the festival this year. Cassie Lemons, I've always been a fan of her work. And the late John Singleton, I've been a fan of his work. That's like my childhood, Boys in the Hood and all of those things. So
Poetic Justice, all of them.
Yeah. So I definitely admire them. But I just feel like, I feel like I see certain, especially directors, not really African-American directors, but I think directors who are white female directors. I don't want to name names. I just don't want to. But I see that they have, let's say they had a famous parent who was a director and they kind of grandfathered into their legacy. Some of their work that I see, I'm like, I know that.
No, I know. Again, I understand 100-fold without you even saying it.
Like, I just had a budget and I already got a team. Just give me the budget.
Right.
But they're grandfathered in. So, and I'm not mad at that. I hope that we can start to do that. I want to do that for my children. I want to do that for my legacy and for the people that I want to empower. I'd like to start a foundation one day to do just that, to bring African-American directors, female directors for sure, into this and get them in the industry. But for sure, I see a lot they're usually grandfathered in. So the female directors who are grandfathered in to the industry, and I'm like, I don't know.
I've seen that from being on film. Yeah, I've seen it from being on sets and being in audition rooms as well, where you're like, oh, really? You here? Okay, you know what this is.
Yeah.
But I think for me personally, and I don't know if it applies to you as well, you use that as motivation to go forward. And like, okay, so if that's how you got the easy track in, let me show you how it goes when you have to actually work for it.
Right. For sure. And I agree with that because I consider it a blessing. I try to find opportunities in everything. I consider it a blessing that I had to work this hard for this film because now I know everything. I know so much now that I wouldn't know if I just got it easy, if I had the budget, if I had the crew, if I had everybody that I needed, if I had the money to pay for, A-list celebrities. I wouldn't have the same amount of education. But there's a certain amount of tenacity and endurance that you develop and persistence when you're able to strive and get something versus when it's just handed to you, if that makes sense. So
it absolutely does. With the endurance, what was the most challenging part of filming this as the actor? Not the writer or director, as the actor. What was the most challenging part for you?
Getting out of the director mode and just being present and in the moment with my scene partner, especially, scene partners, because we had to do a lot of like intimate stuff. And just being, because when you're thinking about something, I don't know if you've ever experienced this as an actor, but like when you're thinking about other things and you're not in the moment, you can't really be vulnerable. So that was the most difficult part, is just like, okay, I see something going on over there, but let me trust that my DP is going to take care of that, or our first AD is going to take care of that, and just let it go and be present with, either Nifa or Justin, who are our leads. That was the most difficult part, is not being here when I need to be here.
I can just understand. I can see that, because I would imagine like you're in the scene, but you're looking outside at the same time. Right. Like you're looking at yourself, with your aura is looking at yourself in the scene. Is like, okay, am I doing this right? But then you're trying to remember, I need to be doing this a certain way.
That was the most difficult. That's why I say to this day, I am a crazy person for doing all these different things. But, to God be the glory. It was a miracle. That's all.
Would you do it again?
Say that again?
Would you do it again?
Would I direct, produce, write?
Everything you did, would you do it again?
I think if it led to the same outcome, then yes. But do I think we'll see. I don't know what's in store. If like I said in the beginning, I wasn't trying to do everything.
Well, that's why I asked, because like you said it. You weren't trying to do it, and
right?
You fell into it. So like now that you've fallen into it and you've seen that you can do it because you have produced a feature film, it's like if you just was like, you know what, let's see if I can do it again. Now to push yourself to do it.
Right. I think it would be possible, because I know, for example, Denzel Washington has directed and starred in his own films. It's not impossible. Spike Lee has been in his own films, usually as a minor character, but still, it's possible. And then when you write at a separate time, a separate space. So you absolutely could still do that, and then you're still a producer on that project. It's possible. But am I like, yeah, I want to do that again? We will see. Like I like
that hesitation. We'll see. Before I let you get up out of here, I got two more things. First of all, what do you want people to take away from the film when they watch Asunder One Flesh Divided?
I want people to take away the idea and really ponder for themselves, what does it really mean to love? And so I mentioned in a funny way that this started with a prayer, but that prayer was out of my own selfish desire, because I'm like, I just want to anyway, I just want to do what I need to do really quick for about 90 days. And then I want to send them back. That's not love. Right. And you'll see in the film too, the both of them, they have to figure out, what does it really mean to love? And am I willing to make the sacrifice to really love this person not only the way that as much as I possibly can, but as much as God would want me to love them, and in the way that God would want me to love them. Their process and their journey is messy, but in that mess, they found healing. And so that's what I want people to take away. Am I loving? And what does it really mean to love someone?
That's a deep one right there. Because it sounds like something so simple, but when you literally have to dig into it and really observe yourself more than anything else, it goes very, very deep. So that's a good one to tell people. Miss Barrett-Adkins, if people want to find out more about you as well as the film that is screening at the ABFF, how can they do that, and how can they get in touch with you?
They can stay in touch. Follow me on Instagram, alana.b.a, or Rock Alari Studios. Rock like the stone, Alari, ALARI Studios. And you can also go to our website, rockalaristudios.com, and we have information up there. And check us out, ABFF, starting today.
This interview probably be out tomorrow, or probably later on the day, because I'm the one that got to edit it. So it'll be out. But make sure you check that out, Asunder One Film Divided. I had the pleasure and honor of speaking with you. Thank you so much, Miss Alana Barrett-Adkins. I hope you have a great rest of your day. I hope this festival just opens up way too many doors. When I say way too many doors, you're like, hey, hold on. I only got some minutes.
Yes. Thank you so much for having me. And thank you, everybody. I hope you could check it out.
All right, take care. This is
All
Big
right.
Boy Jay Washington for Cinelinks.com. I'll let you later. Bye.